Robert? How's everything going? Welcome, everybody. So tonight we're going to have a special guest up here with Robert and I, a friend of ours by the name of Mike Patrick. He's going to be joining the team with us, and he's a investigator of all kinds. He does paranormal, he does cryptids, and he's a ufologist. Very brilliant scientist, very skilled engineer when it comes to putting all these gadgets together to track and identify UFOs in real time. So he's a real asset to the team. Robert, you want to speak a little bit on that?
Yes, so we met Mike, we had a situation where he started commenting to us and stuff, and he said, "Hey, I'm right in between the both of you." And we started talking, getting to know him a little bit more, and we thought this would be a great way for not only for us to get to talk to him together, but
Right.
also to allow all of our subscribers and followers to understand what we're trying to accomplish here by triangulating these crafts and to trying our very best to have as much data and scientific, backing
Instrumentation.
to our sightings and our experiences. So we were very glad to hear that he's willing to play along in what we're trying to do here with these UAPs and UFOs. And we're really happy to have him here. And hopefully we're going to learn a few things about things we don't really quite know yet. So, but it's going to be great in our arsenal, and I'm glad he's here. So,
Right.
let's welcome Mike.
Because you and I bring things up in real time. We watch things in real time, and sometimes we miss stuff. But Mike, he can do anything with his technology. Let's bring him up. What's up, Mike? Welcome.
Hey guys, thank
Hey,
you for
Mike.
having me. How you doing tonight?
Pleasure to have you, buddy. So
Glad you're here.
Fantastic.
you're basically a scientific engineer with all these instruments that you're using and putting together. Why don't we
Don't tell my
try
wife.
why don't we try to explain a little bit to the public exactly what it is that you're able to do with this gear?
Yeah, definitely. Let me go quick background on what I do. I'm a former MUFON investigator. I went out and started my own investigating group here in New Jersey. And I'm also a Bigfoot investigator. And I dabble a little bit in the paranormal too. And over time I've learned that certain things must be resolved and looked at with science. Okay, and we have to really, if we see something, science has to be able to break it down and say, okay, this is what it potentially could be. You have a cause. This is the effect that we're going to see. And I remember looking at one of these TV shows, Skinwalker Ranch, and they had this device called the UFO DAP-on, and I'm sure many people probably heard of it. And if you haven't, it's a pretty unique device. And when I looked at it, basically it's a high-end camera that sits outside your residence on either a mobile platform or a roof. Yep, there's a picture of it. And you set this device up on a tripod. Okay, well, I do my mobile unit. And I built an outside enclosure that has a mini computer with a mini network port, and that runs back to the camera. And the camera connects to the network port, which in the software runs the camera, which detects these objects. Now, it's really cool. This is the device here. There's the camera, everybody can see, and there's the box I was mentioning. Set this thing up outside. You basically put it up, and you're separating the antenna that I have. I'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, there's a device here. I better shot at it, and there's the camera. And what this thing does, it runs the Bob software, and you can look it up and Google it. They're very well known. They are former engineers and developers from Sky 360 arena when they were around. What this thing does is really cool. And and when I first set it up, I was tracking a bird. And I'm thinking, okay, it will outline in the box and show the bird, but it shows every millisecond snapshot of the bird in flight and movement. And it will show you not only that, but the path this bird is taking. So I'm like, this is fantastic, because now if something passes in front of that camera, yes, it will start recording, but I can see the projection of the path it's taking every millisecond in sliced increments. And I can be able to look at individual increments if I wanted to, where when you have video, you have to stop it, zoom in, look on a specific spot. And if you see another area you want to stop, zoom in. What this allows me to do is pick a snippet out of the area, and I can click on each one, zoom in, and bring up exactly what I'm seeing. So if I see the bird in a downward, flap, I'm going to see the details of that. And the same thing with a plane. A plane flew overhead. I tracked the plane. You can see the movements of the plane. I actually watched the lights turn on for landing lights when a plane was going, and you see the next snippet. They were off. So it's pretty cool. And again, this is something that if you have a budget, pretty much anybody can make. All the parts I purchased through Amazon. I'm invested around $600. Where you look at the UFO DAP, which is professionally built by an engineer and scientist, a PhD, and his device, starts at around $1,800. It's a fantastic device. I tried to go a little more economical based upon my budget. So pretty cool stuff.
Definitely.
And then the best part is when you put this device outside, you can run the RTL SDR. And that was that blue antenna, Anthony, in the picture you had up that was separated from my my Skywatch device, I call it. So that RTL SDR antenna scans a frequency range, and I can put it anywhere from 0.1 up to 2 gigahertz. Actually, there's an image. Yep. Looks just like how it looks when you scan with the UFO with the Bob software.
Yeah,
so this RTL SDR not only scans, cool. It scans the frequency range at the same time the object is tracked, and I can interface Flight Radar 24 and ADS-B exchange. So you're getting a built-in solution to check the object, determine what it is. It'll tell you plane, bird, drone, whatever the case may be. Then it'll check the software for Flight Radar 24, and it'll show you what's around that object in an area. So if there's nothing around there and that's a single object, it's going to show it to you on that software. So it's really cool. There's that blue antenna right there.
That is absolutely incredible.
And I have a question, really cool. Mike. Using that, have you caught any sort of anomalies? Anything strange or unusual? Unusual?
That's $1 million question, man. Did I catch anything on that? I can say it did come up one time as an unknown. And what the unknown came up, it was a balloon. So a balloon came through the corner of my picture and went out, and it went and grabbed it, saw it, but by the time it left, it came back as unknown. But when I actually went outside, because it picked up, I was out there, I saw the balloon going because it was going a little slow through the whole frame. But where the frame stopped on the camera, it was just at that corner, so it passed right through it and came as unknown. I haven't detected an object yet, say of unknown origin, like a UFO or UAP. Haven't detected that yet. But now with all these drone sightings, I'm hoping that we can catch something on this. Because when it does, it's gonna give us every bit of data we're looking for. The projected path. If it's frequency, if it's broadcasting anything, if it shows up on Flight Radar or ADS-B exchange, we're gonna see this information. And like you mentioned, the best part, and I'm happy I found you guys because we are right in between each other. So I'm central New Jersey. Anthony, you're off of western Staten Island, New York. And Rob, you're below me down near Burlington. So we have that line. We're in between. So if something comes starting from you, Anthony, and heads down southeast towards us, we should be able to pick that up. With that position correct.
That's the whole purpose of this triangulation project, to see if we can get 3 separate eyes on it at 3 different locations in that triangulation zone. Because so far only Robert and I have been able to do that once. And even that is pushing limits, because when that team went out and did a tear in the sky, they had a full team of 10 guys with them and all that equipment that they brought. And they were at 3 different points triangulated. And look how much work and effort went into that just to get those objects coming out of that tear in the sky. So it's a ton of work. And having somebody that's so abreast to the equipment like you are, that just steps up the game. And that shows everybody that A, we're not playing around. B, we're serious about collecting the data. And C, we want to prove that, hey, look, if it's a bird or a mylar balloon or a satellite, we're going to tell you, we're going to prove it in real time and show you that these objects can be misidentified. We do make mistakes, but here it is in real time, and this is how the data gets collected. And I think that's the most important part of it all, the data collection, because without data, it's just a sighting. How high up does this technology reach? Does it reach up in space?
Yep.
Does your equipment reach up to space? What's the height?
This thing can reach up pretty high. I wouldn't say space, but it would easily go, I think, at least 20,000 feet. Whatever detects that movement, it's going to pick it up. It's as long as it goes right over it. And I'm even thinking about building a second one, and I can buy the UFODAP software as separately. And I want to do a second device so I can see which one is going to give me a better quality image, because we hear and see so many images that are blurry, and people have a cell phone, you're kind of shaking, you're trying to get a good video and it comes out blurry. If we can use a tripod and have something that's stable, that's not moving, we're going to get that object to try to be crisp and clear. And I'm going to build a second device, but I'm going to try put it on my roof, where I'm going to have an infrared camera, and then right next to it, I want to do a thermal camera. And I forgot to mention too is that I'm incorporating a GQ Electronics Geiger counter in the mix. So this is going to also give me any information as far as radiation. So if these things are emitting radiation, we'll know.
That is incredible.
And it records live, and it records back to the manufacturer database. So we'll always have a hard copy and a live map that we can see. And we've seen them right now on Facebook, people posting up about the radiation, that's this instrument that's been stolen that could be emitting radiation. Well, and we see live maps, and there's one spot right now in New York that's glowing orange, but I don't think that's it, honestly. There's other types of radiation that this thing will pick up, but it's just another scientific tool that we'll have in our arsenal to cover every aspect we can look at.
And real quick, let me just pop up some of your stuff that you have in your arsenal real quick, just to show everybody. So this is some of my stuff that he has. Just going to scroll through these pictures real quick in his office. This is his setup. That's the outside gear that we were just discussing. What are these, Mike?
Yep, that's outside.
What are these ones?
Tascams. Those are our Tascam audio recorders. They are the DR05 and 05X. So those are our Tascam recorders, and they have a microphone input that will allow me to record at a different frame rate. It's a high-end audio recorder, kind of like a Zoom, but Tascam. About the same price range as a Zoom recorder. But I hooked them up to my my parabolics, and that was the one picture you showed, Anthony, where we were in the house. And there's this big black round object. I make my own parabolics. I go out and I have a formula that tells me, the depth of the dish, the size of the dish I need, and it tells me what, using calculus, I can formulate the length of the internal rod I need to pick up the microphone, so I can slide it back and forth to get a different range. And I hook up those Tascams to the parabolic recorder, and I took the big 2-foot parabolic to one of these BFRO expeditions 4 years ago. And I set it up just to see how good it was. And I heard people talking clear as a bell 200 feet away from me we were in the woods, and there's trees around me. And I was like, whoa, this thing works awesome, So when I picked it up, I'm like, I gotta build another one.
I could see Mike sitting in his car, like at the bank, just listening to people. Here's my PIN number 7508. He's in the car right
That's this one. Hang on a second. I'm going to show you.
Yeah, that's really useful, though.
That's this one. This is the handheld parabolic.
That's great.
So this is one I built. This was one of my first ones I made. And you can see it's kind of dark, but there's the microphone pickup inside. The Tascam audio recorder, which records the line in and out. And then I basically, went out and bought the handle. And I used this more out on research in the Pine Barrens, listening. And this thing works really well. I tell you, I pick up a good distance, probably easily 1,000 feet away. I can hear anybody talking. It's an incredible little device. And, that's why I said, I just want a little bigger, something that's going to get me a little further away. So that's when I built the 2-foot parabolic to try and get me that distance and a little more depth. And what I'm looking at doing now is putting in possibly a second microphone. I'm looking at a custom built microphone.
Yeah.
And it's the frequency range it picks up goes lower than what I have here. And I know one of the BFRO guys uses it, and what he picks up is incredible. The sound that we hear, we heard crickets chirping like, miles away. I'm like, this thing works amazing, So I found out what the model of the microphone was, and I'm like, I got to get these microphones,
I just want to show everybody because
I got to hear.
I just want to pull this up real quick because two things I want to show real quick. We were briefly touching on, 4K cameras, FLIR cameras, and night vision. And for some people that don't know what those cameras are, here's a quick look at what they look like and how it looks like when we're operating it, what it looks like to us.
Hey everybody, Anthony from Epic TV, and I wanted to show you 3 different camera vantage points that I use. One, a 4K camera, which is ideal primarily for daylight environments, filming events and nature landscapes and stuff like that. And the night vision psionics technology camera typically uses the intensification technology, which amplifies available light, including infrared light, to produce a visible image in low light conditions. And then we have the FLIR camera, which is forward-looking infrared technology, and that camera detects infrared radiation heat emitted by objects, allowing them to create thermal images based on temperature differential. And you could get a clear indication by looking at all 3 at once just how different and amazing each one is. Now, I use these 3 cameras every time I go out to film because each one is very important in my field of study, which is ufology. And now I added the drone situation into the mix. But a lot of times, like when these drones fly over, like the other night, I just had my cell phone in my hand. I didn't have time to go get these other 2 cameras, which I wish I did, but it was 6 a.m. and very early. But I want you to look just how these 3 different cameras operate and how good each one is to have in your tool belt. This is Staten Island, New York, Crescent Beach we're filming on. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. Comment below. Have a great day.
All right, so that's a look at, 4K FLIR camera and the Psionics color night vision. And these are 3 cameras that Robert and I utilize. And you brought up another dynamite point before, Mike, that I don't want to lose. You were discussing about putting cameras on tripods and camera shake. Even last year, when you see an object in the sky and it doesn't come up on Flight Radar 24 and it doesn't come up on a UAV tracking app or a satellite app, and it's none of the above, right? It's not a manned aircraft that's in our arsenal of technology to search for that craft. You get a little excited and you tend to take the camera off the tripod and hold it in your hand and try to follow it. And I've learned that it's the worst thing to do because you get a lot of camera shake, and the object in question is always moving around worse than you think it is when you're filming. When you play it back, you're like, oh my God, why did I do that? So the best thing to do is keep it on the tripod. And if you have to, maybe just adjust the camera slowly as you're going or try to figure that out. But here are the 2 objects that both Robert and I triangulated last year. So it started off on Staten Island, and it made its way a few moments later to Robert, and I had called him, said it's on the way to you, gave him the latitude, longitude, the compass reading and everything, and he picked it up in real time. So I'm going to let that play. It's probably like a 2-minute or so video, I think. So we'll just go ahead and let that play so everybody could take a look. And the first video will be mine. Just notice the camera shake because, like a fool, I took it off the tripod and tried to follow it. But you're going to see a prime example of that now. Here we go.
A really bright object here. Whatever it is right above me. What the hell is this thing? I have no idea what this is. It's directly overhead. I see no strobe lights. I'm zoomed in all the way. whatever it is directly above. What the fuck is that? I haven't the foggiest idea what I'm filming right now. It's super duper bright.
All right, Robert Earl White. Oh my gosh, this one is massive. It just changed directions. What? It just changed directions. This is a huge one. Oh, sun's just setting here in southern New Jersey. Wow. Oh my goodness. Holy smokes. Wow. 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 Look at this. They're here. Oh wow. My friend Anthony just recorded the same thing in Long Island. He posted it on Facebook, so I said, let me start recording, and sure enough, I'm pretty sure it's the same one Anthony Aston Player just recorded. Wow. That thing is low. It's very slow. Wow. Robert Earl White, Order of Light. Oh, a plane. Over there. Wow. Yeah, thanks Anthony for giving me the idea. Check out Unidentified S4. Great guys. I'm moving. Trying to get a better angle. That thing is bright and it's slow. It completely changed direction. Oh, got the moon. Oh, to the right. I got it. There's a faint one. Oh. I just want to keep my eyes on. It just started fading out. Just faded out.
All right. So now you got a clear look at those two things, and
Wow.
not satellites, or
Nope.
or I should say any registered satellite. That's why I'm saying I don't know what the hell I'm looking at, because I hate calling something a UFO, like a bona fide extraterrestrial off-world vehicle, if I really don't know, because there's a lot of top secret satellites that you can't track, especially like the X-27B was flying around for 2 years, and I'm sure a lot of people misidentified that thing. But yeah, we both caught the same exact one on the
We
same
have
flight path.
reports.
It was low.
It was low. Yeah, they were low. You were saying, Mike? I'm sorry.
Have you noticed that when in your video, Anthony, it was changing. When you zoomed in, it started changing in different colors.
Yeah,
And the colors were coming back as like a purple, a blue, a green. And then Rob, when you were focused on yours, the initial one up close, it was a solid orange color. But as it got further away from you, it started projecting the same color hues, that green and blue.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting that both had that same view and the same object with the same exact different color hues, different intervals when you were focused in and focused out.
And Anthony was
Definitely
actually
interesting.
saying that to his visible eye, he said it looked more red, like
It
how
did.
it kind of looked in my video, and it must have been his camera
Right, the night
seeing in
vision.
that different, spectrum making it look more of that color. It was unique, very
And
low.
these craft, they do undulate color from inside them, right? They do
Mhm.
pulse these weird colors, but for whatever reason, the psionics, the color night vision changes the color that everybody else sees to the color that I'm actually seeing. So that thing was like almost like a fire red when I was looking at it. And for whatever reason, the camera kind of changes that. But those hues that you see, those auroras on the outside, those colors, for whatever reason, kind of stay the same. Those purples, greens, it really shows those colors. But for whatever reason, the object color, the solid part of it, it always changes to like a white or a blue. I can't understand that, but it's always amazing to see. Now, I'm hoping I'm ordering a higher grade psionics. It's on the way now, and I'm hoping that that'll really get these objects a little more crystal clear. Even though they're 720p, these cameras, the Aurora Pro camera is the highest end one they make, and it's supposed to be like top-notch quality when you're filming them. So it'll take a lot of that static out of the camera and everything that we see now. But hopefully it works. We'll see. And then just yesterday, I was filming on the beach, talking about drones and everything. And then I did the video and I put it up, and I'm like watching it on YouTube for the first time. And then I noticed this object fly across the plane. And I'm like, oh my God, what was this thing? And Rob's calling me. He's like, did you see the thing from? I'm like, no, people just start calling. I'm like, how did you guys even notice that? I didn't even see this thing. Should I play it? Should I show that thing from yesterday? Show Mike? Maybe he's got
show him real quick.
So the plane.
Yeah.
All right, so the plane. The first couple seconds, maybe like 30 seconds, just a plane flying, because I want to show you. You don't really see anything, and then I'll let it loop a few times, and you'll see the object in question. It's just a white orb in daylight. So you could clearly tell there's no wing flap. There's no dust, and I'll tell you, it was like 36, 37 degrees out by me yesterday. Crystal clear skies. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. There was birds and stuff, but I can pin. On my camera, you see birds crystal clear, beautifully, especially during the daytime. That's definitely not a bird. I don't think it was a balloon. It's not solid enough, whatever it was, and it kind of reminded me of what the
it's going
news
too
the news
fast.
been picking up. Oh, it's so fast, and that slowed down like 60%.
It
And
was.
it's so
It was
fast.
just.
Yeah, it was like,
You can see the frame rate. Yeah.
I mean, when the
Yeah.
plane flew by, you didn't see anything when it was at regular speed, right? You didn't
And
even
the
see anything.
kicker was Anthony was literally making a video about debunking misidentifications. That whole video, he was showing the plane, telling people that's not a drone. This is what a plane looks like.
Yeah.
And the whole entire video, Anthony is literally trying to explain to people misidentification,
You're
right?
not catching
And then the
UFO
guy
orbs.
catches an actual UFO in a debunking video.
That's
Who
what I
does
did.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how does that happen?
You were doing it, so I decided to show
Oh yeah.
myself, you know?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
That's incredible.
would
And it's super fast,
mind-boggled.
man. You know how fast that can
Super
went.
fast.
You know?
Super fast. I still have no explanation for that. Again, you can't. Why would I use Flight Radar 24? I was literally filming a plane fly overhead, so we don't have to cancel. It was the plane out because the plane was right there. I don't know what it was. You will not see a satellite daytime, and a satellite would not be underneath a plane. Dust or anything like that, debris too high. That plane was
Actually,
at
I've seen
1400 feet.
satellites at daytime. I have.
Have you? Yeah, but not underneath a plane.
Yeah.
You know, it's not gonna fly underneath a plane. Yeah, but I don't know
No.
what it was.
No,
I don't know
no.
what it was.
I run several satellites. You saw I come across the sky. I was in the pool, sitting back in the pool, looking up, and all of a sudden I'm like, "What the heck is that?" And I look, I'm like, "Is that a satellite?" And I pull up my phone tracker, and sure enough, it was a satellite coming across. You know, but it wasn't, near a plane. There was no planes around. But
Yeah.
but that's incredible.
Well, again, thank you. What man-made object would fly so close and underneath a plane like that? None. nothing would do that. You would be in so much
Right.
trouble.
Nothing.
Dust,
You're violating airspace.
big time FAA regulations,
Yeah.
and dust and stuff like that. Or even if you wanted to say, dust at 1,400 feet, and let's call that object anywhere between 1,000 and 1,100 feet, just for argument's sake. We'll even go as low as 800 feet.
Yeah.
Dust, even if your camera did pick it up, it's not going to just be one giant particle flying through. Wind, yes, there was a light breeze yesterday, but that was so close to the plane, I'm assuming it would have got caught in the jet wash if it was just a regular object. And it's going faster than the plane because it's in and out in like less than a half a frame rate or 2 frame rates, whatever it was. It was super duper quick. Yeah, no explanation. But again, these are the objects that are in question that we're trying to investigate.
You know, another item you want to check out also is a white phosphorus camera.
Okay.
Look at a white phosphorus camera. I was really impressed. When I did a sky watch one night, I led a sky watch out here in Monmouth County from MUFON when I was there. And one of the guys had a white phosphorus monocular. And this thing was about $4,000. I was blown away at the quality and the clarity of this monocular that picked up. Like we see stars in our monoculars and our cameras and our night vision, and even with the psionics, you see stars. This white phosphorus camera he had blows away any camera I have ever looked at and seen. Every camera, the stars were so small and minuscule, and furthest away, these things were amazing. It was so bright and clear.
These are all white phosphorus.
Yeah, you see white phosphorus there.
Yeah. Is this like what you're talking about, or was it more like a Canon type camera?
Yep. They started out. They're a lot of money, but I really think they are worth. Yeah, he had one similar to that AGN, but it was a similar to the AGN on the far right for 2093. But it didn't have the eyepiece. It just had the regular back rubberized piece where you look through, and it was a little smaller by another inch. But the thing was amazing. I mean, it was one I want to save up for because I can't afford a $4,000 night vision, you know. But clear, superior image, Wi-Fi capable, everything.
Really
nice.
You know who uses those, guys? The SEAL teams use those. Navy SEALs. When you see they have the double cameras, and it looks like 4 monoculars. That's what they are. They switch from night vision to phosphorus because they use the frag grenades and those flashbangs and stuff like that, where they got to constantly switch their lenses when they're using different equipment. Yeah, so if the SEAL teams are using them, I'm sure they're really good.
Yep,
they're really good. So I gotta check that
amazing.
Out. And I told you this thing he recorded and took images. Whew, the images were like. It looked like it was taken from a high-end astronomy photograph, like a high-end DSLR camera, crystal clear. Couldn't believe it. I put my thermal and my night vision. I'm like, yeah, okay. You want to use it? Go ahead. Can I use yours? You know, like, let me borrow it for a little bit. He's like, yeah, sure. Here. Could not believe a shooting star. Saw a shooting star, and this thing was crystal clear coming down out of the sky. Man, I was like,
I can't even imagine.
Because this is fantastic. You know,
I
really,
see shooting stars in the psionics.
Yeah.
Shooting stars in the psionics are beautiful. I can't even imagine on a phosphorus camera what that looks like.
Mind blowing.
Very sharp, right? Extremely sharp and extremely bright. I'm going to assume.
I'm hoping that they. Oh, it's like I mentioned that the clarity and the image quality was like 20K. You know, that's how beautiful the image was. It was something taken from a high-end astronomy camera. You know,
I can't.
I would love to get some images. I don't think, if I'm being blatantly honest, I don't think I've ever seen a UFO documentary that showed anything in phosphorus. To be honest with you,
same.
Can you recall any of you guys? I can't recall.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call him. I'm going to call the guy since he's a friend. And when you guys come down, if we meet together here at my home, I'm going to see if let's just bar it for a few hours.
Then I'll buy him dinner because that would be incredible.
I'll talk to him. You know?
Yeah, dinner on me. whatever you want. I definitely have to check that thing out.
I'm going to sign a waiver. Sign a waiver.
If I break it, I keep it.
Yeah, I'll talk to him.
And
I'll ask
Robert
once we
pays
set a
for
date
it.
and everything else, get together. I'll talk and say, can I borrow it for a couple hours? Yeah.
Oh, that would be incredible.
Sure.
And Mike,
nothing
you know,
doesn't happen, but really
moving forward,
Yeah, I'll definitely do
you
that.
also have a lot of other equipment too, really useful equipment. And could you go a little bit more into, your arsenal?
Yeah, I do. I actually have, you can't.
Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. Anthony, if you show that one picture where it's a 32-inch TV and a side TV, a cat monitor on the side, I can explain what that is. And that is basically my, yep. So the 32-inch TV is my main monitoring TV where I do my video and audio and image analysis. I run a software that allows me to go in and play images and videos and audio and fine tweak them and tune them. The camera, the monitor on the left is the monitor, and I'm adding in 2 more 24-inch monitors. One for the top right. If you look in the picture, there's a little blue box with the Raspberry Pi. That's the ADSB exchange, which I'm going to hook that to a monitor, so that'll be live ADSB tracking of Flight Radar 24. And the little box to the right in the middle of the large monitor is my MADAR device, and that is a UFO detection device, MADAR data probe. Now you can Google it. It's a well-known device. Fran Ridge was one of the co-founders of NICAP, and him and his team created this based upon a need. So the need was, at the time, there were no ways or possible ways to detect something anomalous coming into our atmosphere. We didn't know if it comes in and has radiation tied to it or RF tied to it, but we know that these things come in sometimes pretty fast. Yep, that's it right there. MADAR data probe. The device is custom built by Fran and his engineers, and we have these probes throughout the United States. And I'm happy to say I'm running node 254. And anybody can go to these nodes in the MADAR map, and you can click on my node, and it'll give up the data that it's captured. It'll show you, okay, what my node is detecting and where its location and longitude is. The really cool thing is we will get reports of any fluctuations in the magnetometer. These MADAR uses a magnetometer. And if it knows what a magnetometer is, it's pretty self-explanatory. Anything comes in it that interferes with the oh my God, what I want to say. It'll interact with the magnetometer, and it'll trigger a sensor. Yeah, it'll trigger a sensor. It changes the fluctuation in the milligauss and over what we're detecting, and it records it, and it triggers an alert. It'll sound like a bullhorn going off your speaker when it triggers. I'll also now, when they started doing is we're getting text messages to our cell phones and email. Should we be outside and something detects, we'll get an alert. All we got to do is look up, and with our phones or our cameras or DSL camera we have. So that device, that device is really, really cool. It's unique.
Hold on.
These guys have a patent on it. And go ahead, Anthony, what's up?
Not to cut you off, but just because I'm sure people just gotta really does that. So was it tracking your location where you are on your phone, and if something flies over where it's tracking your location, it lets you know, hey, this is right over you right now in real time.
It's actually sitting at my residence, and it projects out into the atmosphere, and it goes very, very high. Okay, very high. Mm-hmm. And anything that comes in my range, now the range, my understanding, because it's kind of copyright sensitive, so they don't really tell you what the range would be. But my understanding is it's up to a 5-mile range around me. Wow, so anything that comes into that 5-mile radius around me, my MADAR is going to trigger. Okay. Again, don't hold me to that. I could be wrong, but a couple of guys said 4 or 5 miles. One guy said 8. One guy said 10. So, but we really don't know the range. Only the engineers who designed and built it know what that range is. And it uses a high-end magnetometer. This magnetometer is like $150. And I'm like, you know what? me being the geek I am, I had to go out and build my own magnetometer. So I went and got a Raspberry Pi, and let me show you. Give me 1 second.
Yeah,
I don't mean to step
please
away from
do.
the video.
And I checked out your node. I checked out your node the other night. I checked it out.
You
It was
did?
really
Cool.
cool to see the node and to see all the information. You know, it's cool to spy in your backyard when I don't live there. It's really, really cool.
Yep.
That's amazing.
And it's cool. And I think it's really cool because if something detects it now, not only will I have radar data, I'll also have the Geiger counter data for radiation if it triggers. I'll have my new magnetometer that I built. Okay. And this is based on a Raspberry Pi with we call a Linux operating system. I'll bring it a little bit closer here.
Wow.
There you go.
Check that
So
out.
that's how it looks. It's built on a Raspberry Pi. That's the magnetometer. Okay. And the device, when you set it up in detection, this will trigger an alert. And this thing goes up the same distance as the Raspberry Pi. So when I hook it up, my magnetometer is live. So now I have a second scientific data device to back up the MADAR. So, and Fran, when I talked to Fran, told him what I was doing. Fran is the developer and founder.
Right.
He was ecstatic. He's like, this is awesome. He's like, I wish everybody would do it because now we have a secondary device. Should the MADAR trigger, we now have a secondary device to capture this data. And this data is recorded to my computer in a database. So I'll have a secondary database. Now I have correlation. So as we talk about triangulation. I'll have my MADAR device, and then I'll have the actual MADAR device. Now I have that triangulation and data I can look at.
That's incredible. And
what I want to do is I'm going to build another one, but I'm going to also try to build an all-in-one where I'm going to take another Intel NUC device with a mini computer, and I'm going to hook up an ADS-B controller with Flight Radar 24. I'm going to attach another magnetometer to it, and connect a Raspberry Pi so it interfaces through the NUC, and I can record data to the NUC. So I'll have that running, and then I can record and attach the Geiger counter into the NUC and have a all compact, all-in-one mobile device. So if we're ever out at a Skywatch event, not only can I take this, my Skywatch behind me, but now I can take this entire little mini computer with all these scientific devices and bring that out too.
See, that's what I'm talking
about.
Whenever we
want to do that, we're about data. We got to get the
data. Mobile unit.
All in one.
Yeah, all in one mobile unit where you could just go wherever you want to go film and collect data. That's what I'm talking about.
Could put it on top of your car, right, Mike? We weren't talking about that. We were.
That's exactly
Mike was talking about it.
I'm literally thinking of that right now. Sprinter van or something.
Yeah. So what I've decided to do, and I had to get approval from the boss. We all know as men who our bosses are, the wife.
Of course we know, the wifey.
I'm looking at a used Hummer H2 because the Hummer H1 is like, forget it.
Very
so
expensive,
a Hummer H2, and I have two 28-inch monitors. Yeah, and I'm building a platform. I want to build a platform in the back of the truck, and on the roof of the truck, I want to put up an infrared. I want to put up a night vision with a white phosphorus, a thermal camera, and I want to do a surround of the device with security cameras around. And I want that as a mobile device. It's going to have a Geiger counter. I'm going to use the same instruments I have here, and I want to incorporate into this mobile truck. Okay, so be able, if we know something's going on, we can go anywhere we want to go to get that data and just park it. Okay. I'm looking at acquiring one of those old news trucks, those big masts with the antennas.
Oh, yeah.
And what I want to do is, you saw them, yeah. I want to take one of those masts and basically have somebody install it for me through the roof of the Hummer, weatherproof it, and then I can remotely put the cameras on top of that mast and raise those cameras up 50 feet in the air. That's what I'm looking to do.
This guy's
so
he's like inside my head right now.
Away from the truck and get them more elevated. And cost-wise,
thousands.
$2. It's going to be a little expensive, and that's why I'm kind of like trying to I'm moving different things around, trying to get different things because it's going to take me a little bit to get this to build together, you know. And I'm not going crazy. I'm not buying a brand new Hummer, you know, like an
You
electric
don't
one.
need
That's
one
like
for
way
that.
crazy. You know, I want something that's a 4x4. No, I can put it in a Tacoma. I can put it in a 4Runner, you know. And I'm even thinking about a 4Runner. We have one now. I might want a second one where I can do this. But the big thing is I have to make it mobile enough and rugged enough to go out deep into the forest we have down here in Jersey and upstate New York, wherever I may go, and make sure I have that data. And I'm looking at putting in a Starlink on the roof. Okay, this way I have that bandwidth data I can transmit, and as a secondary backup would be a mobile hotspot device by Verizon. So I'll have two data backups, one, you know, in tandem with the other, just in case one goes down where I can't get a reception. But the Starlink, we know, no matter where you'll be, as long as it has Starlink service, will get reception. So I can get that live data transferred back. You know, that's what I'm looking to do.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet.
And no, say anybody wants to help fund this, you can reach out to Anthony and let me know.
Absolutely. Any one of us. Now, listen, I'm willing to bet that if we reached out to Elon Musk, he would probably donate that Starlink for a mission like that. For people doing scientific things.
You know, I'm looking
I've read stories that he loves helping
I'm looking
stuff
at
like
benefactors.
that. I think I'm gonna write him. Maybe we'll get lucky.
Yeah, I've already reached out to him.
You never know.
Hey, the more we write, the better off you might be. You know, I have a project plan. Yeah, I'm outlining a project plan to where I can submit that.
You know, Elon Musk is actually a big fan of Jim Goodall, and Jim Goodall and I are buddies. Matter of fact, Jim Goodall was just with Elon Musk like 8 months ago because Elon wanted an autographed copy of his book. And maybe I can have Jim like actually get a letter to him from us, from the business, and what our plans are and why we're trying to do this and what we're trying to put together. And you never know. It doesn't hurt to ask the right way.
Or I could make another viral video.
You can make another viral
and
gunshot
then he'll see it that way.
The drone hunter. You know,
make the video, and at the end of it, please send me a free Starlink.
Please send me Starlink. Yeah, I'm liking.
That was crazy how that video spread. It's like wildfire.
You have no idea, man. You have no idea. It's still going.
I have no idea.
It's still going. Well, they stole it.
Yeah,
they stole it, and the video view count went into the B's. It went into the billions. Like I've never seen anything like that.
A lot of news.
I tagged you. I tagged you on one of the posts.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was ridiculous. And then, you know, people stealing it and cropping it and putting their logo over it and telling other news channels that they were the drone hunter. You know, like with today's technology, you're gonna get busted. We're gonna find out you didn't make it. We're gonna find out who the initial source was because we put the original video out 2 days prior. So anybody that did a reverse Google image search on that image is gonna realize it came back.
We put it out 2 weeks prior. December 4th.
Was that? Oh, right, December 4th. You're absolutely
was the original right. 2 weeks before. So
you're absolutely right.
And we promoted it for 2 weeks, and it finally got attention when someone told the fake. Wild. And a lot of news agencies have been contacting me and actually doing really great fact-checking reports. I mean, exceptional. The last one I sent Anthony, I found out the guy actually called the police here. Oh, yeah. I'm like, yeah, real journalism. It's about time. And they're fact checking it, and they're using our story here with this fake shooting at this drone as a story to show how misinformation spreads.
Right.
So a lot of news agencies is picking up the story not because it's fake shooting at a drone, because it's the perfect example of how misinformation,
false information. Spreads like wildfire. But you know, more to our point, you know, why we invited you with us, because how fast misinformation spreads, and especially in ufology. These people show you like, the Bokeh effect, or they'll show you like a grain of rice somebody's throwing out into the wind and the other guy's filming it. They show you real garbage, right? And then they tell you they have all this data for it, but they never show you any of the data. We want to change the game on that. And we want to be one of the agencies that actually show you the object and show you all the data that was cataloged with it. and how all this came and why we're showing it to you. That's the most important thing for Robert and I. And now we know that you're the same way. And I think that's why this is going to work great as a team. I think it's going to really show the world why it's so important to try to track and triangulate these craft and really get real-time information on them.
Definitely.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. And hey, Anthony, real quick,
definitely.
and
the data is important.
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's the most important. Go ahead, Robert.
Do you have the clip of what Mike captured? Do you have that clip in there?
Yeah, I if you give me 2 seconds, I can put it right up.
Oh, the UFO.
Yeah.
Well, I should say UAP. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and while you're doing it, I'll talk about what it was. So I mentioned how I was going to do that, but it was weird. I was sitting in the DMV inspection line, okay, out here in Jersey, and I had my car has a sunroof, and I'm sitting there. I'm on the phone. Look, I'm watching other UAP videos, and I'm actually listening to a podcast, and I don't know, something just told me to look up, and I was like, I looked up, and then all of a sudden I see this white orb. Okay, pretty high up, just go across the sky like this. And then as I'm looking, I see two more in unison come just like this, that fast. I was like, did I just see what I saw? When I saw the first, I put the camera up, the cell camera, because I didn't have my DSLR in my car. I forgot to grab it. So I took the cell camera out and I'm filming this. And it was so high up, I had to focus in a little bit and took a couple pictures. It was 3 white orbs. And I'm like, this is definitely something odd. And I'm like, okay, let me focus again, get my faculties and do it and just keep filming it. And I watch these things. Now, typically mylar balloons or balloons, when they're lower elevation or close, because of the mylar, it's always in the helium inside, you'll see it kind of floating around, maybe morphing different sizes. This appeared like a perfectly round white object, all 3 of them. And it was a lead one, I want to say. And when you look at a balloon, they go across the sky, they undulate real slow because they're following the wind direction. Okay. These things went across like this at that speed. And I'm like, okay, flight radar, nothing around, because I was right near a local airport. I'm like, okay, maybe somebody got something out and they're flying something, a drone or something. There was nothing on flight radar near me within a 20-mile radius that time and that day. I'm like, okay. I got out of the car and I'm like looking again. I'm still filming this. I got out of the car and I'm looking at it and going, these things are moving pretty quick. And I'm like, there is nothing around, nothing I can see, no plane around. Flight radar showed. I'm like, these have to be an object of some sort. I'm not going to say it was a UFO because I truly don't know. And that's one thing I will never say, it's a UFO. It is an unknown flying object. It is also an anomalous flying object because we don't know what it is. I don't know what that was. I can't say for sure it was a mylar balloon or a drone. But typically you would hear a drone at level, you would hear some sort of sound. At the height these things were at, I don't think I would have heard a drone. But the way they moved was too fast for a mylar balloon. It wasn't a plane, and it definitely wasn't a drone. I can assume. At the DMV was looking at me like, what the hell is this guy doing? And he said to me, what are you doing? I'm like, there's 3 objects flying right here overhead and what they are. And he got out of the car and looked too, and he's like, what is that? And I'm like, beats me, man. I don't know, And, and when I was with MUFON at the time, I have a database. I can look at different objects. I can look at other reports that have something similar. And I went out and checked the database to see if anybody else filed a report for that day and around that time, because these objects were heading, I want to say, southeast. So I checked for anybody. And I checked for a month to see if anybody else submitted a report in our database, and nothing came through. So I'm like, okay. So I actually created a report and submitted it myself to my internal team. And I had other guys look at it, other team members who are, certified investigators from MUFON like me. And they were like, dude, that's unknown, man. I don't know what that is. Don't know. Wasn't a Tic Tac. It was perfectly white and round. So it was an orb.
But yeah, that's amazing. catch.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. I'm sure, Mike, you understand. Anthony and I, this happens to us all the time. You can have all the best equipment in the
You can
world,
take
but
just
it don't matter because these
Yep.
things happen at the most inconvenient time. Taking your dog out, going to the DMV, at the grocery store. It's
Yep.
crazy.
Maybe we go with a magnifier over it.
Yep.
Maybe get a little intensification on it.
Yeah, check it out.
So now you can see the white object
Oh,
moving
yeah.
And
up.
I keep everything. I keep most things in my car. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
it
can
is.
see just like this that
And
it's
that's
not
only
a
the
bird.
first one.
Yeah, that's not a bird. There's no wing flap on that.
No.
Yeah. Nope.
Look
Moving
at
too
that
fast to
thing.
be a bird too, or a
What
balloon.
the hell
And there's
was
the
that?
other one. See how fast that one's going?
It's three of them. It's three. Look,
No,
you
that's
see
only
1, 2,
one of them.
3?
There's two of them there. There's one probably about.
No. I'm saying
Well, actually,
there's
I think that's because
three.
of the frame rate. I think that's the frame rate because there's another object behind it.
This is the object that's behind it, and it's three
Oh, I
dots.
see what you're saying. Yeah.
It's 3 dots. Whatever it is. Then
Yeah,
it goes
it's
to
like
2.
dotted behind almost.
Yeah, look.
What
Let's
the
get it right
heck?
in here right now. Yeah, it's 2 dots.
2 dots.
Now it's 3 dots. 3 dots.
It's like growing.
2 dots. Yeah, it's like
2 dots.
3 dots. 1 dot. 2 dots.
What the heck?
I think that's the frame. I think that's the frame rate. That's why it's showing like that.
Lagging. The
Lagging.
frame
Because I know when
rate
I seen it, it
lagging.
was just 2 orbs.
Okay.
2 orbs. Yeah, I think it got lagging. That's what it was. Because when I looked at it, it was 2 orbs simultaneously going like that across.
Because there's
But you can see how
definitely
fast it's
2
going,
there
you know,
the whole
Look,
time.
this
Not
one
a
right
bird,
here is a
Not a
single.
balloon.
This is a single.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay? It stays single the whole time. The next
Yep.
one comes in real fast, but it does triple, double, triple, single.
Yeah.
So the first one didn't lag at all. So why would this one change? You see what I'm saying?
Speed.
If the first one doesn't change frame rate, the object, why would the second?
Speed. Good
Man,
point.
Maybe. I
it's
don't know.
strange, man. I don't know what the heck it is,
I don't
but
have an answer for you, but I'm
you
not-
call it.
Welcome to my
It's
world,
actually
man.
stranger now that we've looked into it even more, and it just became even stranger.
This second piece is my favorite one that comes in out of them.
Where it's flying like fast. And there's, like I said, there's 2. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's 2 in that
I
second
see.
one.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, see that? It's crazy.
And the
Not, like I
speeds
said,
are
I
so
checked
different.
all the apps. Yeah. Yep. Checked all the apps. No satellite. No, nothing like that. No
Look at that.
planes. Nothing
Whips
like
right
that.
in. That's a good catch.
Yeah.
Very
Like I
good
said,
catch.
sitting in my car in DMV, I'm like, why don't you look up? I'm like, oh, I'll look up. And all of a sudden, I'm like, holy crap, what is that? You know? It took me by surprise. I had to get the phone out and I'm fumbling with the phone to try and capture it. And I'm like, I got the first one. Yeah, I know, right?
Welcome
And then
to
I
the
didn't
club.
have any gear on me because I keep my DSLR in there. Dude, I'm telling you, man, I'm like, this is freaking fantastic. I actually called my director at a time. I told him, I said, hey, are you outside? Like, can you come with me? Because he lived in Brick. I'm like, can you take a look at this for a second and see if you see something? And he's like, I'm at home. I'm like, oh, of all times, you know?
Jeez.
But yeah. And then I checked the database for months and it was no other reports. That's why I said, okay, I'll fill one out just so I have it recorded. Yeah.
I want to. Well,
And you know, the reports that I'm privy to, you know,
yeah.
I've seen a lot of different objects, a lot of different images and videos, and you know, it reminds me of one that was sent to us from South, actually down by you, Rob, where somebody recorded this white orb coming off of the Delaware River from Philly side, and it looked just like that, and it was going through, and it went right across super fast, and I'm like, okay, that was crazy. I had to watch the video like 20 times, and then I slow it down, look at it. They said they had images too, and they had an infrared image which showed it, and I'm like, okay, look at this too, and it was amazing, you know. And like I said, I looked at hundreds of cases, hundreds of different objects and things, and that is similar to what people say as a flying white unknown object. I'm not gonna say an orb. I don't think it was an orb. I'm not positive, but I'm not gonna say for fact. But it's an unknown.
It's really similar to what Anthony was showing in the beginning of this
Yeah,
with
yeah,
what
yeah.
flew underneath of that plane at the
Yep.
speed of it. At least that second
Mhm.
one whipping across like that.
Yeah.
But he was you were zoomed in a good distance, Anthony. You know,
Yes.
so like
All the
that
way.
could have played the speed of it, but they look similar. Weird.
I am actually, because I can't shake
Yeah.
it right now.
Yep.
Hold
He's
on.
bugging out. He's not going to stop until he thinks, but he's not going to figure anything out. That's the problem with these dang UAPs. We don't know.
I got to show you what I'm talking about.
Mr. Cop Detective. See, former cop. Always has to get to the bottom of it.
Now, Anthony, was one thing Anthony doesn't. Yeah, Anthony, you know I'm a former officer too, right?
Are you really?
I'm a former
Really?
class 2. I'm a former
Really?
class 2. Yeah, class 2 auxiliary out of I'm not gonna say the department, but it was Monmouth County, and I was there I started out as an explorer, 14 years
So did
old.
I.
And
So
went
did
up
I.
to,
Yeah, I started
went up to
as an
like
explorer.
corporal. Yeah. Yeah. And then I got into the auxiliary side of it and got my class 2. And I was officer. I left after about 7 years, after I realized what the pay was going to be, and due to some internal strife going on there, I didn't want to be part of. And I said, okay, my buddy was in computers, and I'm like, all right, well, that sounds interesting. And I looked into it and went to school for computers and and all that. And then I've been sitting now in IT work for 20 years. So I have my hands in development side, server side, network side. And I get to play some pretty cool toys. I have a server farm in my house that I set up years ago because that's a geek that I am. I want to play with different toys, so, but that's my background. I like technology and computers and building and tinkering with things because that's how we learn. And I think it's perfect for this field because we need that research gear to be able to debunk a lot of this stuff. And I'm looking at actually another type of camera. It's a LWIR and a SWIR, short range infrared and long range infrared, to add to the arsenal because these things are superb. I mean, these things show the U frame factor. You're talking 1,000 U, and these things, and the distance this thing can get and the clarity it can get. They are expensive. The camera itself is roughly around like $2,000, but now you're talking something better than what I was mentioning about that white phosphorus. This thing is far superior. I was actually trying to get a hold of the Tedesco brothers out in Long Island. Anthony, you know who they are.
Those
they're
are guys
doing
that
some
work
serious UFO
the
research
van with all
their
the equipment. Are those the two guys that
these
work on
guys
the
have
van
true
with gear?
scientific data and
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I think I figured it out, boys.
These guys, and I found a couple. Oh yeah.
Yep, I think I know what it is. I'll let you
got
take
it?
a look at it. I think so. I'll let you take a look first.
I'm curious now. You got me curious.
Just take a look at this
All right.
part. Take a look at that and tell me what you think it is. I'll let it go one more time.
It expands.
Looks like a tail.
Very
and
good.
Expand. Yeah, it's like.
And remember the speed because now it's slowed down.
Some sort of
It's
exhaust
a shooting star or a comet, I think. You've seen in daytime.
You think so?
I think you've seen
Well,
the
now
first.
I gotta go back and check my
compared to
database.
the first
apps.
one.
I think you've seen the first particle come in, whatever it was, maybe a piece of space junk broke up in the atmosphere. I think you see the first particle come in, and right after it, the second, third, whatever pieces were still breaking up. I think you got a piece of space junk in daytime.
Well, now I'm gonna check that because
I think
I'm gonna check that because I have the access to NASA's meteorite site that tells you what objects are entering the atmosphere and the ionosphere.
Oh, right.
There's several different I think three websites you can check out that tell you what objects enter our atmosphere and you
We
can
track
just
everything.
you can just put in your area. I'm going to check that. That's a good idea.
What
I
about
didn't look at that one?
Look at it.
the speed of the first one, though? Would
Uh-huh.
the first one been a little too slow to be a meteor? The first one was a lot slower.
To me, it would be a
You know
little
what
too
I mean?
slow.
I'm only
Yeah.
taking an educated guess here, looking how it's like a tail, like that comet tail on it.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing that comes to mind, if it's not a UFO, would be some kind of space junk breaking up in the atmosphere. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's what I think. Possibly it could be.
Yeah, I've never seen one in the daytime to even know
Could-
what
Well,
that
Could be.
I've
would look like.
shooting stars, you know, comets or whatever, things break up in the atmosphere during the day, especially over the ocean. See stuff like that all the time.
They're just
But-
normally so fast, and that first one.
My only
wasn't
thing
at
about that,
speed.
the only thing about a
This is the music, no way.
burning off, it burning
Right.
off. I mean,
Right.
I don't put the
Yeah.
music on. It burn off. So you would see some sort of like a change, an undulation and flame, or like a little smoke or fire, whatever is burning off in the atmosphere. So,
Mhm.
but I'm going to check the sites and see now, because I know when it was, the date, and I know the time. And I'm going to check a couple different those sites to see if it's asteroid sites or objects entering the atmosphere. If they have, and I'll find out. Don't play it too much. I want you to get copyright infringement.
No, we'll edit it. I have
Yeah.
like 5 of them, and they're all the same color and all the same number, and I can't remember which one is the without the music.
It's definitely interesting too, because you do kind of see, like you said, like a tail thing.
Yeah.
And like fluctuation on it. But like,
I'll tell you, Robert, what it's not. It's not balloons.
No.
Definitely not balloons. Definitely not birds. So we can cancel that right out.
Yeah.
It's not a drone or a plane or a helicopter or anything like that. So, I mean, really, what does it leave? A bona fide UAP,
A
space
piece.
junk, or some kind of like comet or shooting star that was
It could
daytime.
be something along those lines.
But I want it to be a UFO. Out of all those equations, I want it to be a UFO. We'll see.
I'm curious to see what your viewers say too. If people had that
absolutely.
experience, the same.
Yeah,
similar,
good point. Put your comments down below. Let us know what you think it could be, and then we'll have Mike come back and let us know what he found out.
And that's the amazing part also, is that's why it's so good that you caught 2 of them. Because having that first one along with the second one and them being different from one another,
Right.
that really builds the dilemma. If it was just one or the other, it would be a lot easier to take a guess at it. But when you have 2 things back to back and each one is completely different, I don't know. I wish it would have landed right in front of you. Whatever it was.
Me too, man.
They never land where you want them to.
I would have been happy.
Man, that's incredible. Great capture.
Absolutely.
You have a lot.
I didn't channel my inner CE5,
Yeah. Now, Mike, I know you have a lot of other equipment as well, and it's something that you're really into and you enjoy investigating, which we haven't really touched on, and everyone's going to see the cover of the video and wonder what's going on, but is Bigfoot. And a lot of people may or may not know that there are Bigfoot sightings in New Jersey, the highest populated state per square mile in the entire country. So most people would say there's no way there's any sort of mythological creature around here running around. But we all know stories about the Jersey Devil, and I'm sure there's a lot of other strange things. I'm from New Jersey. Look at me. If you saw me in the woods, you would probably worry too. So if you want to, talk a little bit about, your Bigfoot research and all that too, to let people have an idea what you're doing there. Love to hear about it.
I'll say this, Rob. If I was in the woods and I came upon you and I heard banjos playing, I'm running the other way.
Squeal, baby.
So Bigfoot, is one of my other favorite topics. I've been investigating Bigfoot since probably about 2008-9, and I will say this: we have casted footprints in Wharton Forest of a juvenile and a larger adult. Don't know if it's male or female because, when we didn't see it, can't tell you, but we did cast prints on one of the BFRO expeditions. We were camping in Wharton at a location that surrounding us near a bridge. And then one morning we woke up. One of the guys went out at around 5 a.m. ahead, started walking along the water line by the creek to retrieve his trail camera. And that's where they found these set of tracks, probably about close to 20 different tracks. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And we casted them. We actually casted these tracks. There's a picture of me. I'm not sure if you have it, I sent it to you, but I'm holding one of the casts, which we think was the juvenile.
Is it on YouTube by any chance?
And we measured it. It was probably around 10 inches, about, say, 7 inches. Okay. It's a pretty big print. The night before, we were all down there because we put up multiple trail cameras under the bridge, excuse me, pointing out. That's where I said the other guy put a trail camera on the tree facing towards the bridge. So we walked there. There were no prints. It was regular mud, black mud from the creek bed, and there was no prints. And then that morning we went out there and saw them. We were all like, holy cow, this is crazy. And that night, somebody said they thought they heard something walking in the water or breaking branches behind us. So we popped out the thermal and we didn't see anything. We kind of like blew it off, What the heck is that?
I'm just playing some Bigfoot stuff while we talk about it.
And that's the photo.
Yeah, we actually casted.
Hold on.
And then
you can see it there.
There it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not the best. The actual picture you can
that's me holding
a lot better. But
we could just overlay it.
Yeah, that's one of the pictures of me actually.
Yeah, that's awesome. And right there in the creek, which that's going to be the place where the ground's wet.
Yeah,
that's going to leave the best kind of imprint. Not a solid rock. You'll never know a Bigfoot walked on a rock. You need that marsh.
And definitely, because it's going to retain that structure because it's muddy, marshy. It's not going to slop and start molding itself back to what it used to be like sand would do. It's hard to cast in sand. Now, when we split up in a couple different teams, we had thermal cameras, and we had one team on one side of a pond, another team on the other. And all of a sudden, somebody's like, "Hey, on the walkie-talkie, is somebody over here at this location?" And they're like, "No, we're over here. Like, we got a thermal hit of a peekaboo." And we're like, "What?" And all of a sudden, like, you see all the thermal cameras pop up, and there's like 6 of us. And something was playing peekaboo. Like, here's a tree, and it's going like this around the tree, looking at us.
Oh.
The other team caught it on their thermal camera. We saw it from the opposite side where we were filming, and we had the one team, 2 people start walking towards it. Well, all of a sudden, I'm looking at it, and I see it do this, and then it goes like this, and it turns and then bolts.
What?
You're talking pitch black.
Wow.
This thing either heard them or saw them approaching it, and it turned, looked. I saw it on my thermal. Another person did too. Turn and look, turn back, and bolt the opposite way. Now, when that being ran to the right now, 2 of our team members on our side went around the backside to see if they can catch something.
Catch it.
Because this thing's coming towards us now, but it's going this way. It's more easterly. Didn't catch anything. They heard the noise, they heard tree breaks, and all of a sudden it stopped. Yep. And then there was nothing. It's like it disappeared. Okay. And everybody's like, what? It wouldn't disappeared. So the 6 of us went around to try and get to that location. And what we did now is we had one guy stay back at the site. We called up one of the other guys to go to the tree that was, and we walked him, led him towards a tree. And we said, stand there. Now we want to get a height reference. The guy we sent was the tallest guy in the group. He's about 6 foot. We put him up on the tree. We're scanning with the thermal. His head was almost 1 foot to 1.5 feet below where the height of this creature was. So whatever it was over 7 foot tall.
Over 7 foot tall.
Wow.
I have no.
I'd probably say at least 7 foot to 7 foot, 7'3". It was Tall.
Big
Neither do
boy.
I. And when we, in the morning, 4 of us went back to that spot. Big boy. We went back to that spot. Now, because the ground, certain parts of Wharton, are forested, the floor was a moss furnished kind of floor. So we really couldn't see any type of imprint. It was hard. Somebody thought they saw something like a heel print because there was an indentation and it looked like a heel print, but we couldn't make it out. And, we're objective. We're like, okay, we're not going to say it is because we're not sure. And we kind of couldn't be able to cast it. But we know we saw 22 people at about 22, about 10 thermals, and those 10 people saw it all together. And that's down here in Wharton. I've been out on expeditions myself, and then with my old team researching, and we found prints. One night we were sitting out there listening in the middle of the woods. It was probably around 1:30 in the morning. Now Wharton is a state forest. It's over 1 million acres. Okay. And there's no campgrounds in the area where I go. It's the first thing I look for: high traffic roads, campgrounds, hiking paths. And where I went, there was nothing around. And we heard a howl. Now we know what coyote sounds like. We have them here, wolves, coyote. We don't have mountain lions that we know of. They're, stray dogs. There might be some out as that. It sent chills down our spine. And then we're listening. And then another howl came. And we're like, all right, did anybody capture that? And one of the guys got it. Sent it off to one of the specialists, and they looked at it and they said, yeah, that's a Bigfoot. And I'm like, okay, so didn't see it. I know what these sounds sound like. I never heard a true Bigfoot sound except for the Sierra sounds.
Right.
And it wasn't that kind of gibberish, like they call it Chinese gibberish. Didn't hear that. Yeah. It was straight up 2 howls, like, oh, real loud. Yeah. And we were like, okay, we got something, But the guy came back and he has a database and he cross-referenced to everything he had. And he had a match to an East Coast one in upstate New York that sounded similar in the patterns. When you look at the pattern in the audio analysis tool, the patterns were almost very similar. And this was from a one up in upstate New York. And we had ours in Jersey. So knowing that, and then, watching Finding Bigfoot, and Expedition Bigfoot, I like the technology they use. Cool. That's me. I'm a geek. So I'm like, everybody's talking about infrasound, and I know people that had infrasound hit them in the chest. They were out researching, and some guys were like, I got a real bad headache, and all of a sudden I felt very heavy. I had this like very scared feeling where I needed to get out of there, and it hit me in the chest. Like it was like a real ooh. And I was like, okay. So now I'm researching infrasound, and I'm like, there's got to be some sort of detector. And I found one. This thing is used in wind turbines. Okay, you basically want to record the infrasound from a wind turbine because people say that the infrasound the turbines make causes hearing and memory issues with fowl and birds and the fish and the orcas in the ocean. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look into this. So I found this apparatus. It looks like a mini hard drive and very long tubes that come out, and it's an infrasound detector. And I only know of one other person who used one years ago in Bigfoot research, but they never got back to me. They were out of PA, and they never really got back to me if they caught anything. So we have a spot in Wharton that where supposed some paranormal stuff is going on, and I talked to my counterpart about bringing out my infrasound detector and setting this thing up. It's a little cumbersome because it needs a laptop to run so I can record the software. It's real time. It's a graph. And these tubes go out attached to this device, and they spread out about 50 feet in both directions. So now I have a 100-foot radius around me. If something is in the distance and it projects that infrasound, it's going to hit the tubes first. The infrasound recorder is going to pick this up, and then I should feel something if there's true infrasound. So this device is going to be a game changer. Again, scientific data, okay? I have to be able to prove this. And then once that infrasound, it should pick up anything else that emits an infrasound around us if it's there at the time it's detected. So it's pretty cool. I show it to you, but the box is huge.
I want to show you guys something. So I actually go out a lot Bigfoot hunting. So I'm actually here staring. I'm up in the Catskills with Mike, Long Island Bigfoot, and I'm staring out into the woods.
Yeah, no, Mike.
And this thing, see this I got circled here? You see the black mass in the middle there?
Yeah.
That's one. And then later on, there's one on the left and one on the right. Now, those things weren't there when I was staring at it. Later on, when we looked at, we heard the noises there, but went home, looked at the pictures, and they were in the photos. Was this black shape? Looks like a head and shoulders in between the logs there in the middle. And this one is the head and shoulders there, and then to the left, it looks like another one of those cone heads in top of the shoulder.
What was under that? Was that like a drop off?
Straight down. Those trees are blocking. It goes down on a hill to like a creek. Like,
so
I don't
it's
know,
something
like
standing up,
down.
And you're just seeing the headline. I got you.
Just seeing the top of that head and the shoulder top on that one.
Yeah.
And then the other one is just the head and part of the shoulder. I think that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah. Oh wow.
So that's not a tree stump, right? Because I see a lot of down trees there.
No. Listen, we walked that whole area. We saw there was nothing there. It was just like somebody came in there with like a forklift and picked up a bunch of trees to block that drop off there. So all those trees that are down are blocking like this drop off that goes like down 20 feet to a creek. We explored that whole area all day on film. It's all filmed. And you see those trees and you don't see those black masses in the videos. Only in the photos later on when we're coming back, we took pictures of all the spots we went to. And they were in the pictures on our way out. And this is me. I'm looking over at that direction because I hear things going on. I hear things going on, like things moving, and I didn't know if it was deer or whatever. And I got my phone in my hand and I'm filming, and it was crazy. It was really crazy to see that at the end, but I don't know what it was. But those things weren't there.
And I know Mike.
Yeah. So
hey, Mike, real quick.
I know Mike. He's a good guy.
The imaging of the thermal of the Bigfoot that your whole group was capturing, the peekaboo and stuff, was that documented and released?
Yeah.
How could people find that and watch that? I would like to see it.
Because it was a sanctioned event. It's proprietary to the BFRO only.
It was a BFRO event?
Because it was a sanctioned expedite. Yeah, it was an expedition with the BFRO.
They own the rights.
Anything you document is proprietary to them.
Yeah, they own the rights to it.
Yeah, but like I said,
that's the bummer.
I know what I saw. You all saw it.
The Bigfoot research organization.
It's unfortunate, but I because we have to start logging this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Where I'm like, put it out for the public. Show everyone.
Show everyone now.
Yep.
I'm the same way too. I don't mind, putting stuff out there as long as I do my due diligence, review my scientific data and analysis, and say, okay, what this is. I exhausted every possible study, application, research, follow my scientific method of process and procedures and debunking, and say, okay, this is what I've done. It's been peer reviewed, and we don't know what this could be. That's what I have to do. I wish we could, because it was a really clear image. You were talking middle of a dark forest on a thermal, and you see this heat signature, like clear as day. It's like, whoa,
stood out like a sore thumb.
There's another tool apparatus I have. Yeah, it did. And with thermal, man, you shoot in the darks, whatever is emitting that heat, you're going to see it. It's going to emit. It's going to be clear.
100%.
So, another thing I have my tool in my tools is a 4K head camera by Ordro, and it's got a built-in gimbal. This thing, yeah, that's it right there. So that thing has a built-in gimbal. It does images and video. It has a remote control, and it wraps around your head and tucks behind your ear. Okay. So when I'm out during the day, I have a 512 gig SD card in that, a micro SD, and it just runs constantly when I'm out because I'm moving my head. Even though I'm doing fast movements, it has a built-in gimbal. It's going to stabilize those movements. So when I'm out researching, I'm looking around, and I'm just constantly panning my head, moving and panning and tilting. And then I'll go back and I'll review the whole video to see if I see something that I couldn't see with my naked eyes, that thing can capture. The really cool thing is I put it backwards one day to film behind me because, you hear of things popping out when you walk past it. I put it behind me. I'm like, let's put it behind me and see what I capture. And, I didn't get anything, but still, it's another tool to have that is going to help record and capture if anything pops out,
And stabilize.
I have a little
stabilized too.
Exactly. It's stabilized. And that's a big thing. We see people with GoPros on their shoulder, on their backpack. Those things aren't stabilized. Your backpack is always shifting, your movements, your arm. So you're seeing movements. With this device, because of the built-in gimbal, it's going to stabilize it. So you're going to have that smoothness. So anything I look at, I have to make sure I have a gimbal built in because I want that stabilization. As I said about the same with the tripod with the UFO stuff and objects, try getting on a tripod. Another one to mention to you, you mentioned before about how your hand was shaking. One thing you can try next time, if you ever find yourself, this is for anybody out there, if you have to hold your camera, don't hold it with your arm out, tuck your elbow into your side.
Yeah,
and then stabilize your hand. So now you have your own tripod.
I had my shoulder replaced and I broke my back. So no matter what I
it's
do,
difficult to get that movement.
Yeah, after a couple seconds of holding it, I'm shaking. I have no control. I'm like a 90-year-old man.
Yeah, I get it.
Some nights I get pretty sore holding up my camera. I get really sore. It hurts my neck the next day. My back and neck hurts because I spent like an hour going like this with my phone straight up.
Nightmare.
Yep. But I'll send you a picture of the infrasound detector so you can overlay it when you have time.
Oh, perfect.
Absolutely.
But I was just looking to see if there's anything else I can talk about in my arsenal. But pretty much I've got that's all the tools, the apparatus I call it, my hardware research gear that I have that I use to do different things. And I'm still expanding. I'm still researching. Different hardware. What's going to work. One of the things I'm looking at building is a sound detector, but what it's going to do is it's going to be more for trying little mini, I want to call mini sound pucks, little mini microphones with a wire antenna that comes out, and you would have 10 of them, say, and you would lay these things out strategically in an arc around your research area. Okay, and then when you're back at your home base, if one of these sound detectors picks up something, it's going to trigger an alert, on your device and tell you exactly which way the sound's coming from. So if you hear a Bigfoot yelp, whoop, howl, coyote, anything, that detector is going to light up and show you the direction where these things are, the sound's coming from.
That's a great idea.
Another cool thing I got to show you real quick till I'll grab it.
Go ahead.
But that's more when you're doing your Bigfoot research, to get that. All right, let me grab this one thing I want to show you. You guys ever hear of an LDR? LDR is a long
LiDAR?
duration recorder. Okay. No, LDR, Lincoln David Robert. And I learned this from Charles Kimbrough. Charles Kimbrough was the guy who invented this LDR, a long duration recorder device. And I bought his book, and it's under Squatching 101. You're welcome, Charles, for the plug, because I'm going to tag you in this. Excellent book for anybody starting out with Bigfoot research. A lot of good information, a lot of good hints. So what it is a long duration recorder. It's a cylindrical tube, similar to this. Okay. And you have a bottom, you have a top, and you have microphones sticking out. Okay. And these are the standard lavalier microphones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like a
Nothing crazy.
yeah.
It is a little bit of an expensive lavalier. It's probably about an $80 lavalier. Okay. And inside that, you basically drill the holes. I have a screw bottom on here. And then inside here is where I place my recorder. So the recorder will sit straight up in here. And then inside is the connector for the microphones. And that would sit inside, plug into the recorder. And then there's an external battery pack I have. And what it is I had to make it to fit this size tube. But the next one I'm going to make is going to be a bigger tube. It'll be a 6-inch, basically PVC plumbing tube is what this is. When you look at it. Okay. Yeah. But the one I had to make to make this a long duration recorder, which means anything over a couple days to get it out in the field so you can leave it and then just record. Well, there's a separate battery pack that I had to make that sits up in the top, and it's using like a DC battery resistor to tone that voltage down to make it last longer. So when I put this outside in the woods, I get about 2.5 weeks of recording time. Okay, that's not continuous.
A long
this
time.
Pick up sound, so it's in standby mode. So if it hears something, now it's going to kick in and record that. Okay, the recorders I'm using have a 256 gig SD card, so we have enough there to record what needs to be. So I'm trying to change this a little bit to where at least a month out in the field. Okay. Some of the people will use a car battery and an old ammo box, but I don't want that on the ground because I want people to see it. That's why I made this camouflage, because in the summertime, when you hang these in the pine trees, you're not seeing this, okay, unless you're really looking for it. I bypassed it a couple times in the woods when I went to retrieve it. I have it on my GPS, but I'm still like, where the hell is it? I can't see it. Oh, there it is. But I have a J hook that goes on the top and hangs onto there. But what I'm now looking at doing is building a quad device. So it's going to be, if I have a sample of it here, I might have put it back.
Put an ad tag.
Well, that would be a good idea if I used Apple, my phone, or Androids. Sorry, iPhone people. What I'm doing now is looking at.
I love Samsung phones. They're the best cameras.
So I got to tell you what I'm going to be building next. So an old PVC like Trex post, okay? They're that plastic stuff. They're square. Well, perfectly square, 4 sides. And then you get where I'm going here. Triangulation, sound where it's coming from, put a microphone in each one of those sides. So now I'm covered for north, east, south, and west. So if we're out researching and we see something on the FLIR, on the thermal, on night vision, makes a sound, we can now have that LDR device triangulate. So that's what I'm hoping to figure out. I'm still figuring out fine details how I'm going to run a battery on this because it's 4 microphones. I'm looking at a 4-channel recorder, so I need something a little bit bigger to control that as far as power wise. And I have to. I'm even thinking about purchasing those high-end microphones I mentioned because these things are amazing. It's what Charles uses and what Eric has in his current device. But yeah, that's my next project for the Bigfoot side of what I'm looking to build. Because, I got to try different things. We keep repeating ourselves over and over again, and we're not getting anything out of it. And my really biggest adventure and purchase, and if I can really afford it, but I can't, it's $15,000. It is a DJI Matrice 30T drone. It is massive. It's a thermal drone. It can go up for hours.
My friend has it. Mark D'Antonio.
This thing is.
Has it.
Mark has the 30T.
Oh wow. Yeah, he has the
Mark. Yeah,
incredible.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Wow. I'm trying to find somebody that has one because there is something I'm working on in New Jersey that I really don't want to talk about until I know what I have. But this device should basically film a Bigfoot.
That would
It
be
should be able
incredible.
to film it clear, follow it in good clarity and quality. And this 30T drone would do it. And there's another gentleman who I know who also touts this Matrice 30T drone for any sort of research. And anybody that is doing Bigfoot research and you have a drone, you know, you're going to get a thermal. It's not the same as this Matrice 30T, and you can look it up. It's a really excellent research tool to have. It's very
high-end tool,
expensive.
yeah.
That's why a lot of these professional drone guys who do that kind of stuff have it. Highest of high end. It was on Skinwalker Ranch. It was on what was the other one? It was on another one of those TV shows I watch. I can't remember the name of it now. Blind Frog Ranch. They had it up.
Oh,
and this
Blind
thing
Frog
was
Ranch.
amazing.
Yeah.
And and this device, if there is a Bigfoot walking or in that area, this is going to capture it. This is going to pick it up, and this can follow it at the speed that they run. Okay.
I mean, but
so I'm trying to locate somebody that has one.
the best time to use that would probably be in the winter where there's no foliage, because it's the foliage that really blocks
Correct.
the flare from getting
Yeah.
good visuals. So the winter time's your best to operate
Yes.
something like that.
Yep.
But you know what? Speaking on these flare cameras and all that, I
Yep.
want to get one of those miniature submersibles that can film under the water over here on the beach, so I could try to get USO activity. And they're very expensive as well, the good ones. They're like 10 grand too. Very expensive. I mean, you could get a cheap
they're
one,
not
but the
cheap.
camera
One of
quality is
our
going to be garbage.
one of our members I know has one, and they use it for some research. They had a case on where it was a submersible up at a large lake in New Jersey, and he was out. It was $5,000, he said, or $6,000. The lake we were on started out clear the first 6 feet, and then it got that mucky brownish water.
Yeah,
You really
yeah.
couldn't see anything, but he
Yes,
had the lights on it. You know, you can see. Yeah, you see maybe a foot in front of you, and that's about it. But
I'll
they're
tell
pretty
you,
cool, man. I was like,
Yeah.
new
the
toy.
next
you know?
time, the next time I go on vacation and I go to Florida, I'm gonna go down in one of those miniature submarines. They're like bubbles. You can go for the day. They put 2 people in there and they take you on. And I'm gonna be like,
Yep.
we're going on the water filming for UFOs. Let's go. And I'm gonna bring all my cameras down in this thing, and I'm gonna film them. I'm gonna do it because nobody's done it. I'm gonna do it.
Yellow submarine.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there, man.
There goes Ann
Yeah.
hunting UFOs in his sub. That would be dynamite.
You never
All right.
know,
Well,
man.
Pretty
in
cool. It's
closing,
cool stuff, man.
is there anything else you guys want to discuss in closing?
Yeah, well, I guess with Mike in closing, up and coming plans,
so let me just
anything like that.
do this for you guys. Here's what I'm going to mention, and I think you guys know what I'm about to say, as I told you, kind of like you're the first to know. Okay, so now all your listeners will know as well. Since I've been doing a lot of the Bigfoot research, and I've been going out with some very close friends of mine, and learning with them and assisting them and doing this type of research. I am now one of the BF investigators. I was accepted today. I got my money out that I was accepted in as another New Jersey State BFRO investigator.
That's
So
incredible.
I'm really excited about this opportunity, and I can't thank enough to Eric Spinner and Jacob to allow me to be part of this, because it's a pretty tight-knit organization. They don't want just anybody, and somebody has to vouch for you, and Eric did, and I'm so grateful for him and what he's done.
Congratulations.
This is what I've been wanting to do for a long
congratulations.
time, besides the MUFON stuff. I moved away from the MUFON and started my own thing, but now this is another adventure I'm going to be in with the BFRO. So now I can go out and do some case reports and really, really get more data, But again, it's a BFRO data, so it's got to go to the BFRO because that's their database stuff.
But still, your
agreement I signed, which again, I don't have a problem with.
Yeah, you're immersed now with the BFRO. So when that information comes in, you're privy to it. So nothing better than that.
Yeah, I'm
that's
excited.
kind of
I can't wait for the first case, man, so I can start, because I know what I've seen, I know what I've heard, and I know what I've gathered. And now to have others come in and say they experienced the same thing, it's going to solidify what I've done and what I've seen and
right,
heard and gathered. And now it's just
right,
another backup saying, yeah, something is here. Whether they travel and stay in New Jersey, I have my beliefs that the single adult males, I feel they travel. I think there is a family entity in New Jersey. I'm not going to say where because I don't want to give away any information just yet, but I think there is a family living in New Jersey. That's one reason why I want to get a little more information from this person. They're kind of hush hush about it because I don't want anybody to go out and, this person basically has had him visiting their property for quite some time,
yeah,
and a couple people I know were there at night with them and they've experienced and seen some things. So I'm curious myself, but they're definitely here, in New Jersey. And you wouldn't think New Jersey, but they are here. And I know what I've seen and captured. Now it's just going to solidify what my research is going to, help enhance.
Worldwide, what do you think? How many do you think left worldwide, roughly? Or better yet, in the United States, how many do you think left in the United States walking around Bigfoot? You have an idea?
In the United States or New Jersey?
Well, United States. I mean, how many would you guesstimate
I would
are
say
walking around? Thousands, hundreds?
with all the reports that we have thousands. I really think there's thousands.
Thousands.
I wouldn't say millions, but we truly don't know.
Yeah.
People see things and some people don't report them. I know people who've seen something and didn't report it. So, and look at this way at the skeptics, and I understand, I'm a skeptic too, to a point. Okay. But when you have, say, 5,000 reports come in, that's 5,000 people who've seen something. 5,000 people all can't be crazy.
Right.
5,000 people all can't be lying. Now, yes, there may be some people out there who are lying for publicity, but what kind of publicity are you going to get from filing a report? You're not going to get anything.
Right.
So I truly think there are thousands in the United States, probably in the same Canada, same. Who knows? You have the orangutan duck, you've got the yeti, you've got all different kinds of species. And you know what? Science discovers new species every day. From the Amazon, from all different countries and worlds, something is new. Something from the oceans are being discovered.
Right.
Well, not to say it doesn't exist. We truly don't know.
I
And
truly believe it exists.
the biggest qualm is, well, pictures aren't clear. Well,
Right.
yeah, because one, look at the technology they're using. Were they scared? Are they shaking? What kind of camera? The frame rate? It's tough. And I can understand that. And the instant you're there, your nerves are like, oh my God, there's this thing here that could pull you apart. You're shaking. Get the hell out of there.
Of course.
My philosophy is, you know what? Go in, get the best clarity I can get, and I'm going to try to follow it because I want to get that best image quality. Yes, I'm risking my life, but you know what? I got to do it for science. I need to make sure that this gets out there so people realize this guy did film something, and it's clear. It's crystal clear. We can see how its gait is, it walks, its body structure, how its arm swing, movements, what it sounds like, what it smells like. We know it has that skunky smell, which I can understand. We have cedar swamps here in New Jersey. They trek through that, and it gets on their body and smells. Come on. I mean, but I firmly believe there are thousands in the United States, thousands in Canada, and all overseas. And now it's just going to come down to being in the right place at the right time with the right gear. I always wanted to get an expedition together for a month.
I'm just waiting for the day when that 4K crystal clear footage comes in, like like Patterson Gimlin, but with today's technology. That's what I'm waiting for. So then we can have the "I told you so." There it is. I told you so. Now we got that. That's all I'm waiting for. I think that's what a lot of people, or for one that dies and we find a body where science can actually study it. That would be incredible too.
Yeah.
I think they buried their
And
dead.
I'm not one for killing anything. I
Yeah,
don't
no,
believe they
me
should be
neither.
harmed. However,
Yeah,
I do feel they need to be tranquilized so we
studied.
can get the blood work, get that
Absolutely.
data, and study them. Okay, and the only way we're going to find these creatures or beings or hominin, okay, is look at all the reports and find where these reports are coming back multiple times, same area every year, specific time frame, season, moon phase, whatever we can think of. Look at those reports and say, okay, this is a hot spot. We know for a fact 4 of them are coming back here at this time frame in this week. Now, let's get out there a week ahead, get everything set up, all the gear as far as we can get it spread out, miles, get multiple cameras, multiple infrared detectors, multiple sound detectors scattered around, and multiple monitoring stations. For when it comes time for these things, if they do come in at that time frame, we will know precisely where they're coming in and hopefully capture this stuff. But you're talking a team of at least a minimum of 20 people,
Easy.
because that's the only way you're going to do this, the only right way, and have a bunch of Matrice 30Ts up in the air flying, like 4 of them, to cover that vast area. It's, you look at, I started doing, you can't see, but I have maps on the wall. And actually one of the pictures you had, which shows my gear, there's a map on the left side of the floor. I mapped out all the BFRO reports for New Jersey, New York. Yep, there it is, right there on the right-hand side. That's one of the maps. That's one of them. I have 4 maps, a complete New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. And I went and bought these little, and on those maps, I pinned as close as I can get every BFRO report that had a nearest, because some people do it anonymous. They'll tell you what town. Some of them had longitude or nearest location or nearest town. I tried to get very close to where it possibly may have been. And I pinned all the tri-state, every single BFRO report for New Jersey, New York, and Long Island, all that. And
it's a lot of
trying
work
to find patterns, And when I look at it, it took me almost 2 months to go through all those reports and pin everything because I'm very thorough. I'm precise. I want the data. I kid you not, I read every single BFRO report for all 3 states. That's a lot of reports, a lot of data.
reports.
And it took me almost 3 months to get it all done. Yeah.
Wow, a lot of work.
But I have the things up behind my wall. Yeah. So they're all pinned.
One
and
thing
I'm trying to find, again, like I said, that triangulation, that area they're coming in and leaving from.
That's right. Somebody just brought a good point up too, like you're talking about Bigfoot triangulation, UFO triangulation. Lala, Bob McGuire's girlfriend, brought up, she thinks that the ocean is bottomless and it could be an entrance in and out of space, the ocean. And that kind of blew my mind when she said that the other day. And I said, if it's possible, that would be really cool. I don't know how you would get in and out of space, from the ocean like that. But, just another theory. Just another theory to look at. But I like the way you're triangulating everything like that and getting all the data. I don't think you can get in and out from the bottom of the ocean.
I don't know if it's bottomless.
Yeah, I don't know if it's bottomless.
I don't think it's bottomless because
we've never been all the way down.
Yeah, remember we have the we have the transatlantic cable. Transatlantic cable is massive. That's got to sit on the bottom of the ocean, so it's not going to bend if there's nothing there. It's going to bend and eventually corrode and snap. So it's got to lay on something. Do I believe there possibly could be a trench that could be something there?
Possibly.
You need sonar to go and get those depths, and some sonar, I don't think you go deep. You're talking thousands of miles and miles deep.
And hey, if ET had the technology to drill some tunnel shortcut like what we do with tunnels, if ancient advanced civilizations or whatever did something like that, where like what you were saying with the cables, there is a bottom, but I'm wondering if there's spots where there's a shortcut, like something that was created and designed.
Shaft or something. Who knows? Who knows?
But
Nobody
they would
can
have a
down it.
time getting to the core
You
if
know,
the
it
core
could
is
be.
there. I've
We
never
don't know
seen
where
the
stuff
core.
comes up from.
So
Right.
We know USOs are real. You know, people see
Yeah,
USOs.
100%.
You know,
100%.
we see them coming out of water. We see them flying into water. You know, but
mhm.
where are they
I've
going
talked to-
in the ocean? Is there some sort of sub base?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim Gallaudet, the former Rear Admiral for the U.S. Navy and the director of NOAA, seems to think so. They track and triangulate them when they were in the Navy, and he said it's mind blowing how fast they are under the water. We just don't have that technology, and none of our adversaries have it either. And it's impossible under
It's
the
an
water to
enigmatic
operate
nature.
like that. Yeah. All right. Well, this was interesting. I had a great time.
Yeah, we're going to have to get down there to the Pine Barrens, Wharton Forest, and do some Bigfoot hunting. I would be down for that. And UFOs.
Let's
why not?
You never know what we'll catch.
Let's definitely schedule.
Absolutely.
Definitely schedule time. Yep. We'll do two. We'll do a UFO thing, and we'll do the Pine Barrens thing.
That would be incredible because we love it all. So that'd be very fun. All right, sounds great.
So thank you so much, Mike. Really appreciate you coming on. Glad to have you a part of our
team.
team
Tonight. I really appreciate it. I'm a quiet. I don't really post up my research. I'm kind of. I really appreciate that. You know, inviting and offer. I'm looking forward to working with you two guys and see what we can come up with and you know, prove things the scientific way, and you know, and we'll go from there.
Dynamite. All right, hold on. I'm going to end this recording.
Awesome.
This is going to take me like 5 hours to download. Just hold on. I'm going to just end it. Don't go nowhere.
Everyone hit that like button and subscribe to the page.